So, welcome to your favorite live stream, even on a weekend, guys. I hope you had a fantastic start into the brand new weekend, and there's some very interesting topics, guys. We will talk about, what happened last week and what was important to understand what's, in the week ahead. And then we will talk about what Warren Buffett makes moves, right? We know as of his SEC feeling what he has done the last quarter, which stocks he bought, which stocks he unloaded, and then we have also a fraud allegations, and then finally we will talk about also the breaking news. So this is the agenda for today. So first we will talk about the past week, breaking news, week ahead, and Warren Buffett. So let me know in the comments where you are watching from as of this morning. I'm totally here enjoying the fantastic weather in Germany. We have fantastic weather right now, very hot days. And it's not that hot like in Dubai, obviously, but still it's very hot. So let me know where you're from and how it is in your home country where you're watching from. So we have people already from Israel, Belfast, London, Belgium, and New Mexico. Mario, our member, is here from London. Then we have London as well, Netherlands. So very international as always. I love that. So let's dive directly into it. I think the main news for last week for the American stock market obviously is the stimulus, and the stimulus is very important because it is very understandable that this is very impactful for the American stock market. Why? Because since many of the American citizens lost their jobs, even though the job market on Thursday was pretty good, the first time since the crisis that we have under 1 million unemployed jobless claims, we are having pretty much a lot of people that are depending on those checks, and obviously some of them people are even have more money in the bank or in as an incoming monthly payments than before. Then they would have work, especially those who are working low salary jobs like waiters or something. I heard a lot of stories where the waiters are getting now more money than they have when they had the job. So this is very important to see that how this development is going on, but it's very important or even more important to get this money to the American people in their hands to spend for their and to cover their costs, right? Otherwise we would have a really big problem. So therefore the stimulus is very important, and to follow very closely. I think once it's agreed that there will be more money for the US citizens, then we will have another market rally and new highs, right? Even though we are pretty good now in terms of the overall stock market. If you have seen, Amazon is over 3,000, the S&P is almost all-time high. The other stocks, Tesla is fighting with the $1,700 mark. So as you can see, all those big players out there are doing very well. Space is obviously fighting and holding now somewhere at 18 and 19, which I like. I personally like it because I'm still uploading my position. So as longer as it can be for that, as better for myself. And I think for many people that thinking long term as well. Beyond Meat is holding up the 125 mark, which is a good resistance there. So if you are interested into owning some Beyond Meat, I think at 125 it's a fantastic price. And Amazon, it's just at all-time high because it's fantastic, thriving through this crisis. There couldn't be a better crisis than this one for this company. Now, before diving further, make sure to smash that like button like Rambo here. And also make sure to follow me on Instagram, Wolf of Dubai Danny. I'm posting there sometimes a little bit about the stock market, about my private life. So it's also, a little bit behind the scenes if you want to have more even And if you want to have access to our community, then smash the join button, because then you can get access to our Discord chat, you can support the channel, or you can get even one-on-one with me, and we can talk about portfolios, we can talk about stocks, the market, everything you like. And then let's talk about the fraud allegations, okay? We are having, and this is something that I just discussed in one of my Neo vlogs, and that's why I don't invest in Chinese vlogs, guys, Chinese stocks, because guys, you know, many people in the comments said, you know, what do you think about Neo? What do you think about other Chinese stocks? And I said that I don't like to invest in them because it's not that transparent, and I believe that stock market and public companies need to be as the maximum transparency, because they are getting money from retail investors and people out there, and I believe that it's the main thing for this public companies, not to only to make value for those investors, but also to be super transparent. And that's why, you know, the quarterly earnings is very important. But if you see, you know, that a few Chinese stocks had already the same problem, right? I mean, look at Luckin Coffee. Luckin Coffee was one of the biggest Starbucks-like growth stock on the growth market and on the stock market, with, you know, a huge growth, fantastic numbers, and then it came out that most of those numbers were fake, right? So here we are then, and then the stock lost about, I think, 50%. So you get absolutely grilled, guys. And now we have the next allegation against the Chinese Netflix, right? Equiyi, I hope I pronounced it right, tanks 18% after US regulators, so the SEC, investigate about fraud allegations. So here they announced that you know, the SEC is investigating, and apparently they had some fraud in inflating revenue and user numbers, and the share lost about 12%, even up to 18% after it was announced. So as you can see, you can lose a lot of money if you are interested into how these things work, especially with, you know, this fraud allegations, and why there is some kind of why this is typical or more common with Chinese stocks. I really recommend you this series. I think it's still at Netflix, or just check it out somewhere where you can check it out in the internet. This is how it looks like, or this is the poster, right? The China Hustle is a fantastic documentary. There was, for example, a case where there was one guy investing into one of the biggest, apparently, textile company in China. And then, you know, his father was in China, so he asked his father to check out this company, and he went to the company, and he said, like, this company, you know, there's like nothing. There's like a empty building. There's one security guard. I don't think at all that this at some point or now is the biggest textile manufacturing company in the world, right? Okay, so as you can see, it's very hard to say how much you know, you can trust those. I'm not saying, you know, I'm anti-China or anti-China companies, but it's not that transparency that I love, and that's why, you know, those companies are on my no invest list so far. Okay, so after so many kind of fraud allegations and you know, untransparency, and on the other side, you know, I you know, it's not only China stocks, right? Think about Wirecard, the German wonder in payment systems, and you know, 1.9 billion euros was missing because they was never there, right? They just invented those. So it's not only by Chinese companies, it can be also German companies or US companies. I think there is a lot of more fraud out there that we think it is by just clever accounting measures. But Chinese is a special plateau or platform for that, because US or other countries have very less transparency there, and the investigation is not that easy to do in China, and therefore it's interesting that something like this planned out after I just said why I don't invest in NEO. So think about it. If this is something for you, obviously you make your investment decision on your own. And but be aware that in case of frauds, that the stock can plump very much or get even. You can lose all of it, right? Look at the Wirecard, guys. $100 per share, and now I think they are like almost zero, right? I mean, they announced the bankruptcy filing, so I think that Wirecard is at the end of their history. So very, very dangerous sometimes if you pick some companies that have some fraud allegations. This is also one point of my research. If I look into companies, I always look if there was ever the case of some fraud allegations, because sometimes for example, in the case of Wirecard, there was years of, I think 2 or 3 years ago was the very first time where there was a news article that it might be a fraud at Wirecard, and now it took 3 years until the whole flow fraud developed, and therefore I'm quite anxious about this kind of things when I read them in connection into a company that I find interesting. Okay, so let's dive further. Breaking news or further developments. I just put up this chart here from one of the most affected states in the US, and we're still going down with the cases. So this is obviously bullish. I hope this can continue. And I really hope that the US is getting more and more successful in beating this crisis, and it looks good, right? I mean, this chart, if you have a stock, then definitely I would say this is definitely downtrend stock, but here we are talking about the health illnesses cases. So I'm thinking this is pretty good, and therefore I'm happy to see this positive development, because every small step to a new normal, or to a back to normal, if we can say it this way, and if it really will be the real normal, is obviously very, very positive. I'm super happy to see this kind of declining numbers. And let's talk about Warren Buffett, but let's before that, let's dive into the chat. I want to see if there's some questions here, and if you don't have any questions yet, then make sure to smash your keyboard, guys. Okay, so we have here people from Netherlands, California, Hong Kong, Cardiff, Wales. Then we have London again, Bristol, Phoenix. Then we have Florida, Montreal, Los Angeles. Even in Los Angeles, 2:30 a.m. Thank you very much for staying up so late to cover this live stream. And then we have Oliver saying AMD can easily reach 100 per share at the end of the year. Yeah, this is definitely interesting. AMD is doing a really interesting growth numbers, and with the capitalization of Intel saying we cannot make these chips that AMD is doing, this was an absolutely injection into AMD stock just to grow fantastically. This is a fantastic growth story, though it's obviously very expensive at this point, so it's priced to perfection. But if they can continue this growth and develop off these fantastic chips, then I see a bright future into the chip market with AMD. If you are looking for a good company into this market, then you can have a very interesting stock in this portfolio. So then we have people from Arizona here. We have people from Glasgow, Netherlands, Chicago. Then there's a very interesting question. At what price would you stop buying space for a long-term hold? Well, I definitely want to build up my position into space. I'm thinking, the position size, for my personal opinion, should be maybe at $100,000, something around that, maybe a little bit more. And then, this would be fantastic if, as long as possible, it can stay low, so I can, build up this position. And then we will see how further the development of space is. And then, if the positive thing is going on, why not, or why stop buying space, right? Or other companies. If a stock that you like is really, continuing to develop very positively, then why not buy more of it, right? I mean, you need to make sure that your money works all the time for you. And therefore, I believe, you shouldn't, put your barriers into your mind already. I stop at this price, or I stop at this number of position, or this size of position. You obviously have a goal in mind, saying, I would like to be this position, this and this big, compared to my other portfolios. But I'm really, really happy to buy a stock that is just delivering, positive news, because then obviously the stock eventually will follow, and you will be happy when your money works for you and it doubles, triples, or even 10x your money. This is obviously the beauty about the stock market. Okay, so what I see here more. Okay, let us see. So Ariel Rodriguez is saying he is patiently waiting for Neo. Then what do you think about Nikola and the AV market? Well, the AV market, I think the AV market obviously is benefiting currently from Tesla, right? The big Tesla is making millionaires, and obviously a lot of people want to jump this train. And therefore you see now super inflated, like Nikola is a super inflated company right now for that, what they are having prepared. It's absolutely ridiculous, guys. Okay, so it will take time until next year and the year after that they will make first time some products and some revenue, guys. So I'm very, very interested how this story develop. But $15 billion for Nikola is, in my personal opinion, a little bit ridiculous. Okay, so this is definitely my personal opinion. Neo is definitely something that is interesting, but again, it's already good priced in terms of what they do and how they grow, and it's Chinese stock. So for me personally, it's nothing to invest. But if you like, I definitely keep the Neo videos coming. I definitely, I love to look into stocks that you are invested, guys, to make sure that you don't miss. And if I can give you just a little bit of new ideas or thoughts, then I'm super happy. Okay, and if you're super happy too, then make sure to smash the like button, guys. This always helps. And make sure also, I have a second channel, Wolf of Dubai 2. You can find the link in the description. You can follow me there, because starting in October, when I will be back in Dubai, I will pump more and more content. I will cover more and more stocks, and then you shouldn't miss any of it. So make sure to smash that subscribe button and ring the bell, and follow me on Instagram if you are using Instagram and want to have a little bit behind the scenes and a little bit about my private life. Let me have a look if we have some other questions here. What do you think about Planet 13? I'm not have the chance to look at it yet. If you believe in the vision of the company, the price and timing wouldn't matter. You will invest no matter what. That's pretty much true. Matthias is saying you should try filtering your water from the tap to use less plastic bottles. That's a very good comment, guys, because we want actually, make the planet more sustainable. So this is a great tip. Thank you very much. And what do you think about the Barcelona getting whooped? So yes, yesterday, for all the football fans out there, Bayern Munich absolutely shredded Barcelona. I think they are one of the best teams right now. So let's see if they can win the Champions League. The interesting part, what I saw yesterday, apparently Barcelona is about one billion in debt. Can you imagine a football team being $1 billion in debt? They need either at some point some government help or win a lot of titles to make sure, or selling some players, right? I mean, how much Lionel Messi would give Barcelona some cash, It's, if you're thinking about it, football clubs are not that much different from companies, right? They have, cash inflow, they are getting some talents, they have to win some titles, they have to get some milestones, they have to have good financials and so on. So more and more billionaires are paying, ridiculous money to own some football clubs. So this is quite interesting to see how this developed over the last couple of years. So, I'm quite interested into football. So, I see another one here. Can you kindly comment on Stitch, Fix, and Spin Masters? I didn't look into it yet. So, let me know always what is your concept about it. Okay, so when you ask me about the stock, then let me know what you think about it. So if you're thinking, to buy Tesla because they are revolutionizing how we will transport at some point with full self-driving, and then revolutionizing also the power grid, then I know already what you think about the stock. And yeah, let me have a look and now into the last topic, guys. Warren Buffett, or in the last two topics. Let's talk about the week ahead. Obviously, the Fed, the stimulus will be the main topics to consider watching in next week. Okay. And then we will have some earnings, continuing on the earnings in the earnings season. It's the Walmart that is showing us how the retail sector is doing, as well as the Home Depot. And other than that, I think also Nvidia will show us if they can improve their overall situation with selling more and more chips. So these are the earnings that are interesting. And then, we slowly fading out of the earnings season. And then, the overall market got a new glimpse how the future looks like. As you know, the earnings were pretty good. As we saw, because the expectation was pretty low. So obviously we got a lot of beat of expectations there. And then, when Warren Buffett is showing us, or have to show us in a certain filling of the SEC, he is showing us which stocks he buying or selling. And when Warren Buffett is releasing this, everyone is watching it, okay? Because he is one of the biggest and best investors ever. And he just showed us that he bought a big position in Barrick Gold, as well as exiting Goldman & Sachs, Burger King, Parrot Restaurant Brands, and Occidental Petroleum. And also he is totally exited the Delta airline position. So this is the news that actually he bought. So he bought gold, or a gold stock, which means that, he still thinks that gold will gain over the next couple of years. So maybe he, and this is a filling that is, every quarter. So you can imagine that maybe he bought it already back in March, so when everything went down, and, gold kept on being a kind of nice hedge for the whole portfolio. So this is something that you should also consider. It's not like he bought it yesterday. As you know, the gold price went down a little bit over the last couple of days. So this is always a backward indicator, though that Warren Buffett always keeps those for a very, very long time. So maybe he thinks that the recovery will take a little bit longer than expected. And let us see. So I hope you enjoyed it. I looking forward if you are smashing that like button, following me on Instagram, and subscribing to my second channel, and check out the join button below all my videos, and you can get access to the membership section where we talk about stocks. There's a lot of like-minded people. I would appreciate that. And I hope you have a fantastic weekend, guys. Enjoy the nice weather in the summer. We just have like 2-3 months left, and then we are going into the fall. So make sure to stay safe And I wish you a fantastic day. So stay tuned. And I come out with a brand new vlog in just a couple of hours. So stay tuned. And I love you guys for always tuning in, even on a weekend. And have a fantastic and wonderful day or night.